TrentoVision.tv, from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
All in mega battle station.
Tom Trento heads United West, a group that says it defends Western civilization against the onslaught of Islam.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TrentoVision. My name is CJ, and you're listening to us on WNN 1470 AM, broadcasting to you live out of Boca Raton, Florida. You can listen to us from Miami all the way up to Orlando, or you can listen to us anywhere your smartphone or other smart device works simply by downloading the iHeartRadio app and getting WWNN on your smartphone. And why wouldn't you want to? Good afternoon. It's Thursday, November 7th, in our new time slot of 3 p.m.
Yes, our new exciting time slot.
It's exciting
news.
This is where we started. This is where we started over a year ago.
That's right.
In the 3 p.m. slot, and now we are back.
So exactly, and so we are actually prefacing you to what we're going to be doing in the future, knowing that we had that 3 o'clock time slot. We could be actually prefacing you to something even a longer time slot here in the future. We don't know.
Yes,
well,
that could be happening,
maybe.
and moving back to the 3 o'clock position means that we must be getting closer to an election.
An election.
And actually,
exactly.
It is just about 1 year away from now that
Yes.
we will be going back to the polls in Florida and the rest of the country
To save America.
to save America.
That's right. There
So
you go.
think about it this way. We're giving you notice here at TrentoVision.
We're putting you on
that
notice right
we're
now.
putting you on notice that we've got 1 year.
1 year.
1 year
That's right.
to really knuckle down
You,
and get to work and get off your butts and get active and turn this country around. And if you need some good reasons why this country needs to be turned around, we're going to give you some in today's show.
That's right.
Because we're going to tell you some things going on in Florida, and we're going to tell you some things going on in Washington and the rest of the country. And then for extra fun, if that wasn't enough for you,
Can we go to Al Quds?
the icing on the cake,
is Al Quds?
we're gonna go to the Middle East.
I love it.
We're gonna go to the Middle East.
Right
And
where
who
you-
are we going with? Well, I'm substituting for Tom Trento today because he put on his superhero cape
That's right.
and he's out there somewhere in the world fighting evil and corruption where he finds it, and he doesn't have to look far.
It is all over.
It's all over. Yes, it
With
is.
me in the studio today, because I'm all by my lonesome at the desk, is our technical director and numbers genius, J. Mark Campbell. Also with us in the studio today, our intrepid, tireless, fearless producer, Mr. Damon Rosen.
The invisible David Rosen.
The invisible. He's taking over for Invisible
Invisible
Mike
Mike.
in his invisibility.
That's right.
He left me his superpower.
He left me
I
his
could not have been
superpower.
any more grateful.
Okay.
So the next time I show up, you might not see me.
If he didn't show up, would anybody notice? We
No,
would.
we would.
And
That's
so
right.
would all the viewers and listeners. And we might also have some special visitors stop by the studio today. Some of our friends dropping by the bunker.
Yep.
Imam Abdullah,
Abdullah might
I
stop
fool
by.
you fools.
I
Will you
am
say
here,
hello?
I am here.
You're here, you're here.
Very happy to be back.
Very happy to be back. Are they putting you to work back there?
Work depends what you call work.
Well,
Yes, you could call work.
I notice you're not working too hard because you didn't bring me my coffee today, but that's all right.
Catfish coffee I could not find.
Also with
right.
us in the studio, do we have any of Damon's friends from Kings Point?
I'm here. Schmucky Potsnick is here.
Schmucky Putznick in the house. So we have the fabulous Bunker Boys and me, CJ, and let's start with some news here in Florida. What do you say?
Yes.
Yes?
That will work. That will work.
Okay.
And in fact, it comes from a place where Tom just had a speaking engagement not that long ago.
That's right.
That's right.
I
We're
got
going
it. I
up
got
to
it. I got it.
Volusia County, Florida.
Yes.
That's where the Daytona Speedway is.
Okay.
And there's something interesting going on in Volusia County. It's actually a huge scandal because
It's a huge scandal.
apparently in the schools in Volusia County, Florida,
Right.
the students are provided with textbooks.
Yes.
Now,
That's pretty standard.
I don't know.
What's your problem?
I don't know why it is in this day and age that the wasting of natural resources on a grand scale such as this is occurring. Because think how many trees had to die to build these textbooks. And what's in these textbooks?
That's right.
It's all about,
Yeah,
you
there
know
you
where
go.
this is going.
Yeah, there we go.
Where is it? It's all
Right towards
about
the Quran.
Islam.
What is wrong with teaching Islam in the schools?
Islam. Are
Yeah,
they
I
going to
know.
teach us how to pray?
Yes,
Are they going to
actually,
teach
yes.
us the glories?
Yes,
the
the five
wonderful
pillars.
contributions that Islam has made to the evolution of mankind,
And the founding of
to
this
the
country.
cultural enrichment of the last 1,400 years,
Yes.
the human progress associated with Islam, gloriously enshrined in some, I don't even have any
Let us
textbooks on
play
the
the
desk.
news, yes?
You have to play the
But there
news.
was a little problem because some parents got wind of what's in these textbooks that
They did
are
not like.
anti-Christian, anti-Western values, anti-American,
Fantastic.
but pro-Islam. And they said, gee, you know what? Wait a minute. Maybe we should go see the school board representatives
Why?
and talk to them about this. And what happened?
Well, we're about to
Let's see
find
the-
out.
You want to find out?
Yeah,
We can
let's
find
see the
out.
video.
We can find out.
Found out the Volusia County School Board postponed its meeting.
Can we
after
make
it
that a
got
little
feedback from
louder?
The Department of Justice about security concerns. The meeting was canceled just as protesters gathered and clashed over a chapter in a world history book on Islam.
31 pages. Explain to me why it's right for you to have 31 pages of you teaching me about Muslim religion.
One group of protesters believe the high school world history book is unbalanced, giving less text to other religions such as Christianity. A Muslim advocacy group, though, and even some local high school students demonstrated in support of the book.
You know, it's not very clear that the
Shibboleth.
people behind this movement are reflecting a national trend of hate groups that are promoting fear and hatred of their Muslim neighbors.
If the claim is we're protesting against one particular religion, what we're protesting is equality for all religions, or take them all out.
Like that.
Neither group had a chance to really voice its opinion before the school board. The school district says the meeting will be rescheduled. The school district, however, would not comment on what the safety concerns were that caused it to postpone the meeting in the first place, but said there was no specific threat of violence.
That's right. There
That's
was no specific threat of violence, but the Volusia County School Board was contacted by, guess what, guys?
The
Some folks
council?
who work for,
Council?
some folks who work for Eric Holder
Oh,
at the
really?
Department of Injustice.
Oh.
And they're the ones who let the school board people know that there was a security threat if they held the meeting.
Are you
And
kidding me?
No, I am not kidding you. And so
Is
it
this-
was shut down.
Is this
now?
is it the same Holder administration who did the Trayvon Martin thing?
That's
and the
right.
same one it's the same department. Well, what is that department called? It's like the
It's the Department of Injustice.
Department of Injustice.
Yes.
Eric
yes.
Holder, Obama.
Eric
So-
Holder, Obama. Yes.
Now, understanding that all this comes, all this controversy because the people down in Volusia County are very, very, very active.
That's
and, they actually had the number 2 vote getter, in the state of Florida, for their activism.
Oh, look
number
at
2.
that. Look at that.
They actually did have. So this And people say, we talk about this issue and it's controversial. Nobody wants to hear about it. It doesn't translate into votes. Mm-hmm. No. You look at this, Volusia County, number 2 on the ratings list of gaining 16,599 votes for our guy in the last election. And it's very high in the state, like number 4 in all the swing states. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, we start talking about these issues, they make a difference for people and everything. So
That sounds good. That sounds good. I'll tell you the one thing that I really liked out of that news report was the man who said, you know what? First of all, there was the man who said, why do we need 31 pages out of a high school textbook on world history to teach us about Islam? And how many pages are there about Judaism or Hinduism or Buddhism or Christianity? What, 2, 3 in major world religions? There's like nothing in there. And this other man says, well, you know what? We're not saying don't teach kids about Islam. What we're saying is give the major religions equal time.
right.
Why?
Or leave them out altogether. I don't even know why we should be giving equal time to Islam. Is this an Islamic country?
Yes.
Is this a Muslim
Ask
country?
your president.
Yes,
It most
ask your
certainly
president.
is.
Well, if you ask Hassan
Well,
Shibli
yes, this
of
man right
CAIR,
here.
Florida, do we have his picture? Let's see him
look
again.
at this handsome man.
Yeah.
It just so happens that the civil rights organization that he heads, CAIR of Florida, called for a press conference, CAIR Florida, to support school targeted for teaching about Islam protesters.
That's
Ask
right.
students to tear chapter about Islam out of textbooks. This is crazy to tear these chapters out. But I am glad to see that our good friend Hassan Shibli and the wonderful organization CAIR, the Muslim Brotherhood from
Right.
here in the United States,
That's right.
has been very stand up enough to go and defend the school.
And you know why they do that?
Why do they do that, CJ?
Okay, I'll tell you why they do that. Because CAIR is the Muslim Brotherhood in the United
I
States.
know, I just tell you that.
And every time CAIR has an issue, they call their friends at the Department of Injustice and say, you know what? We've got actual thinking citizens in our district here who actually want to take matters into their own thinking hands, and we've got to put a stop to it. They're insulting Islam. They're Islamophobes. They're
Right.
racists.
Right.
Shut them down. Did those people in that news report look to you like an angry, violent mob? These
Absolutely.
are middle, you know what? Those people are,
Frightening.
some of those people in the video, they're so old, they don't even have kids in school.
I know that it's a typical narrative that we are the hate group. We are the ones who are, destroying things. I've never seen one.
Do I have to have my face next to his all
Well,
show? No, I don't mind yours,
all right,
but
I'll
get
put
me
my
away
face
from
up there, you
Shibli.
do, really.
Good grief.
And Shibli, is the man of the year for CAIR down here
Oh,
in
of
Florida.
course he
Chapter of the
is.
year.
Chapter of the year.
Yeah.
And-
He's a rising star in the U.S. Brotherhood. That's absolutely
Absolutely.
for sure.
And he's picking up on the radar of the Obama administration on this whole event too.
Oh yeah. And why is that? Because Ahmed Badir is getting a little bit tainted.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit tainted.
I don't know. Maybe when you go over and help overthrow the government of Egypt, carrying an Egyptian flag, support the Muslim Brotherhood, and your brother becomes a jihadi in the process,
And a martyr for
and
the
a martyr
cause.
for the cause, and getting these 72 virgins, maybe that might taint you a little bit.
Well,
So they're
actually,
looking-
that'll get you a dinner invitation to the White
Oh,
House.
yeah,
Is
and
what that
probably-
will
yeah,
do.
That actually does.
Is what that will do.
Yeah.
The textbook issue is not going away in Florida. Our good friend Roger.
Roger G.
Gitano.
Roger Gitano. Okay.
Yeah, I can say his name. He's been on the show before. Okay.
Islamophobe.
Yeah.
Drake
He was
County.
very
Islamophobe.
successful. He was very successful in Brevard County in Florida. And
Yes, he
and there's
was.
also people getting together and paying attention to the textbooks in Sarasota, Florida.
That's right. Number 4 on our list, by the way, of most votes gained for Romney.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
it's really strange, CJ. I start looking at the pattern of how many vote gain for, Romney throughout the state. And we're looking at 32,000 here, 16,000, 17,000 here. Just in the 3 counties that we've mentioned right now, we have over 70,000 votes gained for Romney just in the places where we always go talk to people.
Yeah.
Not saying that we're making a difference down there, but those people see us ideologically similar.
Okay, do you know what? I'll say it then.
Okay.
I think we are making a difference there because I think people are sick and tired of being lied to.
Yes, they are.
Everything is upside down.
Yes, they
and
are.
when you get in front of people,
Absolutely.
And you tell them the truth,
Right.
and it's intuitive to people. Geez,
Right.
something's not right. Why does this not make sense to me? And you put it to them in a way like Tom does when he's on the road and he's
Right.
speaking to groups of people wherever he goes. And people say, you know what? Now all of this makes sense to me.
The penny drops.
Now, that's right.
Those
Now I
golden pieces of the
understand
puzzle
it.
start fitting in,
And now I know that the people around me, they're going to get it too. And I'm not isolated anymore.
Right.
And I'm not thinking I'm crazy
I'm not
in my
alone.
own
You know
head.
what? You know what? Major thing has occurred where people are about sick of being lied to, and
That's
this
right.
might be the final straw.
I don't know if it's a final straw. We'll throw up
This
the
might
graphic.
be
but-
at least what wakes up the country to
Nah,
realize
I don't think so.
that they have been lied to by the President of the United States
my-
for 5 years. Read this headline.
Oh my gosh, you are such a smooth seguer. At 17 minutes past
the
the hour
hour.
on WNN 1470 AM.
That's right.
And we are leaving the state of Florida and going national
Up to the cesspool known as...
to the cesspool known
Known
as
as-
the DC. DC. U.S. Health website handled only 1,100 in test at start of the rollout of healthcare.
All right. I got to tell you.
Okay.
Hold on a
I don't
second.
Look at
even-
the date. Look at the date of the test. A
September
September 30th
30th
stress test.
Okay.
1 month before the rollout.
Okay. I worked in the IT industry for a very, very long time.
What am I
Yeah.
saying, a day?
Hold on. Let me make the point here. I worked in the IT industry for a very long time, working in Cisco networks, helped build, design Cisco networks, massive systems we built for AT&T, Sprint, and everything. And before we ever flipped a switch, we tested it 10 times way, 100 times way to make sure it stayed up. And we stress tested it, millions of different ways.
Understood.
And then we did it again.
Of course.
Okay,
Of course.
just to make sure that it just wasn't a day of the week. And then what we do, we put it out there on a test basis to a limited amount of users and test it again on that.
Well, why would
Of
you do
course.
that, Mark?
But
But-
the reason for that is because you were a business.
Right.
And it was your business to make sure that whatever improvements you were making
Right.
were successful.
Now, did
if
that business have customers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Millions of customers.
If your goal, okay, is to increase the value of your
Yes.
business and provide a good service for your customers,
Right.
then that's the way to do it.
Right.
But if your goal is really to make sure that the plan fails completely
Right.
and falls on its face,
So let's go outside. Let's hire a Canadian company with a little bit of nepotism involved.
That's
and
right. That's
bring them
right.
in, give them a big money contract.
For
and
those
say,
of you who don't know what Mark is referencing there,
Right.
the company that got the contract for this horrendous software debacle, the vice president of the U.S. subsidiary is a college buddy of Michelle Obama's.
There's
Okay.
nothing to see here. Move on.
yeah, nothing to see here.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah,
Move on.
no friends and family here.
No,
But
not a friend and family network here.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
for
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just let me read.
So that's-
read just a paragraph off of this article here.
Okay, go ahead.
The Obama administration's health insurance website handled only 1,100 simultaneous users before faltering in a test a day ahead of its opening, according to a contractor's report. A day ahead. A September 30th stress test on the site, healthcare.gov, found it accommodated 1,100 users before response time gets too high. Contractors wrote in the ACA, that's Affordable Care Act, daily testing bulletin released yesterday by the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. The report was produced by Quality Software Services, Inc., a United Health Group, Inc., unit hired by federal government to help build the online marketplace. A day before they knew. How could, Mark, go back to you, what you did for a living for years and explain to me timing. If something was due out on October 1st, give me the timeline for when the testings should be done for a big project.
You would do you would do a final test, which was, which would make sure that it actually worked. But when you knew it wasn't working at that date, we'd come, hey, yo, guys, red flag alert here. Red flag alert, we have to propose, it's not working. It's not, but then again, we would have known it was not working months ahead of time.
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have, this test wouldn't have been the day before the rollout. When would your testing have been on an October 1st rollout? At what point are you guys
stress test.
stressing it?
We'd have it at least 30 days out on a stress test. Just because we know stuff is going, every time you do a stress test on a system, it's like you're building a new car engine.
Right.
Okay, in Indianapolis 500 is in like a week from that. I mean, a month from now. You would want to run that thing around the track at red line to see if anything's going to blow on the engine.
Yeah,
That's a
if
pretty
you want
good
to
analogy.
win, if you want to win, that's what you would do.
No, how about if you just don't want to wreck it into a wall?
Right.
Well, no, that's
that
is exactly
That's
what
exactly
they want
what
to
this
do.
is.
That's the.
But
then you
go
have
back even.
Then you have the tweaking time after that. I mean, by the time you get here, but the day before, you already know it's going to work. You're just figuring out the little bugs.
They're
by
not
that
trying
time.
to make it work. Let's just start with that premise. They're not trying to make it
And
work.
why do they not want it to work? In order to get to?
In order to get to a single payer system, because that obviously has been such a success for the other single payer care systems that we already have the federal government running, such as Medicare, Medicaid, and the Department and the VA Health. So since they're so successful at that and integrating all of those three government medical programs, oh, wait a minute, they're not. They thought, well, why don't we just take over
Everything.
how much? What is the percentage of the economy?
It's about
1/6.
1/6. It's about 15-16% of the entire economy.
Let's just take over 16% of the economy and make sure that mom and pop America have no legitimate ability to actually have their health care needs
Now,
taken
if you
care
throw
of.
in the Common Core standards,
and-
what percentage of the economy is education?
But wait a second.
Right. You go
If you
there.
want to go back even further to this rollout, how
Right.
about we go back to, first of all, how many pages is the ACA? 2,000 pages.
Okay.
It's good reading.
Okay? How many of our lawmakers who voted for it actually read it?
Well, we'll figure out.
Why would you read it if it doesn't apply to you?
Maybe we should pass a law and figure out what it says after we pass it.
Oh, no. We have to pass the law to see what's in it.
Right.
Okay,
Nancy
you're
Pelosi.
channeling Nancy Pelosi here.
We have to pass a law to see what's in it because you
For anybody watching and listening, if you think you have no stake in the midterm elections of 2014, watch your mailbox for the notice that Blue Cross or Aetna or Kaiser
going out
or
all over the
United
place,
Health is going to be sending you in a few days, telling you that your insurance policy is canceled because it doesn't meet the standards that Obamacare laws have set for it. It's inferior, and
Wow.
therefore you have to get your insurance tripled, quadrupled, pentupled, whatever it is, because if you're a man, there's no reason why you should be allowed to have a health care plan that doesn't give you access to an OBGYN
That's right.
for your personal health care needs. And you, as a
I need
man,
one, obviously.
J. Mark, I know this is very important to
I know,
you
the
for your
OBGYN.
personal
Yeah,
health,
I know.
that you want to
I
have
get
free
my-
and easy access to the
my-
morning after pill for yourself.
And my pregnancy test. I need to get my pregnancy test.
And you, Imam Abdullah,
Yes?
I know that unless your health care plan includes equal access to a sex change operation, should you decide to have one.
Oh, woman, you're very much pushing death.
Well, yeah, well, here,
That you
you know,
want
I will.
that plan.
I'm going to say something right now as far as the IT thing.
Yeah.
They will get the website solved and fixed
Yes.
eventually.
But that
But
doesn't...
Yeah,
Go on,
yeah,
go
yeah.
on.
They will get the website fixed and up and running. They just will. They're going to throw enough money at it, enough bodies at it to where it's up and running. But,
Okay. And
you
who
know-
are these bodies they're throwing at it? I want
The
to talk about that
A-team.
too.
They got the
The A-team.
A-team in now.
Yeah. I'm
But they're gonna-
talking about the contract workers.
They're still Canadian. Eh?
No,
Or are they not?
no.
Who are
That's
they?
not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Oh,
about
the
the
felons?
the navigators.
No, that's the navigators. That's different.
Okay.
No, that's all part of it.
I know, but that's...
Well, eventually they will get the whole website thing solved,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is ridiculous. They can't get a website going for this
Mm-hmm.
thing. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is like a 2 on the hard scale. The only thing that makes this thing hard is the massive amount of numbers,
Mm-hmm.
which they could have easily figured out.
Multiply.
I mean, anyway, but when they do get it fixed,
Mm-hmm.
that is not even the one little bitty snowflake on top of the iceberg here. It really is not. The real problem is going to be the implementation of these cross multiple systems they're going to try to integrate this thing to. If they can't get a website running, the communication between all these things, UK gave up on it after 10 years. They said, we can't do it.
That's right. That's right.
And that's still not even a cube on top of the iceberg. You get down to the actual healthcare itself.
That's
it
the
is-
point.
That is
That
where
is the
the
point.
main thing is going to be
Because
completely
All the
a soup sandwich.
cancellations, all these cancellations, the millions of cancellations that have gone out, and when they do actually can get a quote through the
Where are they gonna-
Obamacare, it's twice as much
it doesn't
money as they
matter,
thought it was.
because what you're talking about there is insurance. The whole end goal of the system is supposed to make it easier for
Yes.
people to actually be able to go to a
Yes.
doctor and have themselves treated properly medically. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you fixed all the websites, even if you cross-referenced all the access to all the medical records and did
Right.
everything else perfectly, what's going to happen? The doctors are not there
I know.
to treat the people.
That is the big question, because
15,000 IRS agents are going to be hired
Right.
to tax you and threaten you with jail if you
Right.
don't pay the penalties and the fines to support Obamacare.
Maybe they should send the IRS agents to med school to
But-
replace all the doctors that aren't going to be there.
But tens of thousands of physicians are going to say, you know what? I'm never going to get paid for this. I'm going to be basically working in a medical gulag, and why should I?
Exactly.
I quit.
Cuba. Look
I'm
at Cuba.
done. I'm out.
A doctor makes as much as a garbage man in Cuba. You think they're going to do that here?
I tell you,
They're
we live here in South Florida, okay? More than half the people we know who we work with and we see all the time at
Right.
different events at synagogues and churches and
Right.
everywhere else we go, they're senior citizens.
Yes.
Okay?
I love them.
They are already scrambling to make sure
Right.
that they are on the new patient list of every single doctor who they may potentially over the next 1 to 5 years need to see, because they're starting to get phone calls and
Right.
notices from their own doctors saying, you know what, you're going to have to find somewhere else to go because I'm pulling down my shingle, folks.
If you think that Obamacare is not going to affect your Medicare, you are very sadly mistaken, because to be enrolled in one, you got to be enrolled in both. And so they're going to say, hey, we're dropping out of this whole Medicare debacle. Medicare, Obamacare, it's all the same thing. They all have the same type of guidelines, all same type of rules.
Right.
We're dumping this thing.
That's
And they're
Death panels are coming. coming.
But they're going to.
Panels are coming.
The death panel's going to start coming. And this is not something we're making up. This is something that's in the law. They have panels. Hey, we're going. It's the only.
Here for your Medicare.
Look at it this way. Do the numbers on it, people. Do the numbers. The numbers tell the whole story. You have a massive amount of people coming into this system. They're going to have to pay for it somewhere. The numbers they're talking about that come in and pay for it aren't going to be there. So what do they have to do? They have to start cutting off service.
And the way the service works, according to this administration and a lot of socialized, the elderly and the extremely young do not get expensive health care. So whereas our system, if you have a baby born with disease or an abnormality,
pull the plug.
This is where people come. If
It's
it
the
costs
oldest and the
if it costs
weakest.
$1 million or $2 million to keep that baby alive, our system does it. If it costs $1 million to keep an elderly cancer patient alive, a lot of people have insurance that cover it. With the way Obamacare works, it's a cost management system, and you're not going to have that anymore. Sorry. The brunt of the money is spent on anywhere from the young to the slightly old, not the very young and the very old.
And you think your pre-existing condition is going to be covered? Oh, no. Oh, now we're going to, oh, wow, this pre-existing condition thing is really costing us a lot of money, guys. Anybody pre-existing conditions, let's make it really difficult.
But they wouldn't lie about that.
They wouldn't lie about that.
No, they wouldn't lie about that.
You think your little you think you can just hang out and go surfing on a thing, and all of a sudden one day, oh, I just had a heart attack. I just had, I just got diagnosed with cancer. Oh, I just got diabetes.
You are no longer socially viable.
Out to pasture.
We're putting you out to pasture. And you know what? If you look at particularly this administration, the most politicized, dangerous against the citizenry administration that we have ever had in this country. Using every instrument, every executive department, and the military against its own citizens. In this country. And if you think they're not going to look up your voting record and see who did you vote for before they decide if you're worthy of getting medically treated, you're living in a fantasy
That's what I said last
land.
week, the way that they weaponize the IRS against their political foes.
You are
what is to
absolutely
keep
right.
the HHS from
That's
weaponizing,
That's
from
right.
being weaponized?
That's
From
right.
basically saying if you're a Tea Party guy, you're not getting this, you're not getting that. If they do it with the IRS, what is there to do for keep
That's
them
right.
from doing it with the HHS?
That's right, absolutely. Or if you didn't, what if you didn't vote at all? Well, then you really don't
That's
count.
fine, because then you just have someone vote
then you
for
really
you.
don't count. Then you really
You think
don't
this
count.
woman would be upset about that?
Oh my
You've
God.
got to pass it to see.
You have to pass it. You have to
see
pass
what's in
it
it.
to see what's in it.
Oh, I don't like what's in it, though, Nancy.
Okay.
I don't
I
like
mean,
what's in it, Nancy.
This is like a national
bad.
gallstone, okay? It has been passed. We have seen what's in it, and we've got to stop it. We have 1 year, everybody. So already in this show at 34 minutes past the hour, we have given you some good reasons to stay active, to get active, to pay attention to what's going on in your city, your county, your state, and your country. If you care about the next generation and how they're getting educated in these schools, you need to be active. If you care that the government has just taken over 16% of the GDP of this country,
And you don't think we're going down a...
you need to pay attention and get active. You need to turn it around, and you can.
That's right.
And if you need even more of a reason to think of why you should get involved.
One quick thought is everybody should watch the movie Gattaca and see where this whole thing, because the only productive are going to be allowed to live. Only the socially viable are going to be allowed to live. It's going right down to that, who was the...
Is it economically feasible to keep you
designated-
alive or not? Are you going to pay enough taxes that we're going to get our money back?
Right. That's where it's all going. I'm telling you, number-wise, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Right. I'll tell you who would have gotten some really good health care
That's
if
right.
he was here.
Mr. Segway, take us, please.
Okay, who
Take it
Obama,
away, Mr. Segway.
Obama would have broken every ACA law to help keep alive had he gotten here on time.
Who would that have been?
Who would that
This guy!
Oh my goodness.
To our radio listening audience, we're showing a picture of Yasser Arafat,
Oh,
where they say PLO officials call for an Arafat inquiry. Why would they be calling for an Arafat inquiry, CJ?
yeah, why are they calling for an Arafat inquiry? I mean, besides that they want to distract everybody from the peace talks that they keep threatening to
Yes,
walk out on.
executive committee member says Arafat's poisoning by polonium was a crime committed by a state. Can you guess which state?
Can you guess
Oh.
which, let's play guess which state.
Which state do you believe that the executive committee of the PLO is accusing
Hold
of
on.
killing our dear?
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
Yeah,
Smucky. Who would that
Stucky.
Smucky Putznick, who would that state be?
That would be Israel, Mark.
You win the golden prize there.
Which I
Hey!
think the whole thing is
golden
very
triad.
ironic because as every
Yeah.
practicing jihadi knows,
That's
there
right.
is no Israel.
That's right.
There is no Israel.
That
I don't
is
know
true. Very good
those,
point.
Those Jews are so clever.
Those
they don't
pesky
even,
Jews.
yeah, those pesky Jews.
Those pesky Jews.
Okay.
Well, is
yeah,
it-
so
is it-
some Swiss doctors.
Is that the same Jews that spread the polio vaccine? You know, when they gave the polio vaccine to people, and they gave them,
Look,
made 'em
this is
impotent?
the same Jews that have been poisoning the wells that people drink out of at least since the Middle Ages. Okay?
yes. Oh,
So
that's the same Jews?
it's the same Jews.
The ones
Before they
that do
just
the
wanted to
bloodletting of the
poison the
babies?
Christians, and now they just want to poison everybody.
Is that the one that make matzo balls out of the blood or something from the?
That's yeah. For Passover, they need to make their matzah out of the blood of Christian children.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Delicious.
yeah.
Oh, I thought that was I thought it was Arab children. They need the bloodlet for that. You know, they need to sacrifice, and the Jews
Right,
did that.
but they got that idea from somewhere,
Oh,
and where they got that idea from
was from the Christian
was
one.
that was
was a
from
Christian
the Europeans,
hangover,
like
yeah.
in the Middle Ages.
And so they just adopted that.
It's they do this. You see,
Yeah.
some people think there really is no bridge building and cultural building between Islam and other cultures, but really they do choose the best and the brightest.
They do.
Historically.
They do.
And I know you.
The number one bridge builder right there, Yasser
The number
Arafat.
one
Yes.
bridge
No, I
builder.
think you mean burning bridges. No burning bridges. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some
Yeah.
some Swiss. Oh yeah, I was saying culturally.
Right.
Yeah. So what did they pick? The blood libels.
The blood labels.
Yeah, the blood libels from the Christians, like in the Middle Ages,
stole it.
from the Spanish Inquisition, from going back from Germany, going
Right.
to the 1200s in England.
The protocols of the elders of Zion.
I mean, now you're really fast forwarding
yeah,
to the,
yeah.
to the late 19th century, and then of
Yeah.
course we have the 20th century when they teamed up with the Nazis,
That's
who
right.
they were so compatible with.
Yes.
They shared
Yes,
so much
yes.
in common, and they said, "Oh my goodness, we should do a cultural exchange. We can learn so much from each other."
We'll send you Arabs. You make them Nazi SS troops and divisions, and go kill Bosnian Jews. And what a
Yeah.
great deal that is! That's
Yeah.
a win-win.
Yeah, that's a win-win. So culturally, very, very simpatico. But
But-
why is this in the news? Because
Well-
this is almost 10 years ago already that Arafat died,
Right.
like November 2004.
We have that new peace partner.
And
So
yeah,
now we have talks going on again.
but there were
Yeah,
but before
they're ongoing secretive talks. They won't even tell you
you're
where
not
they
gonna let me
are.
talk about Arafat, are you? You know I'm dying to talk
We'll get
about
back into it
Arafat.
when we get into the PLO. Let's get to the story
Yeah.
of let's get into John Kerry. Let's bring it all in.
All right.
Bring it all in, and then we'll get back into who the PLO really is.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
We'll get to our story headline here.
Okay.
which is actually a pretty exciting story.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
It's very
So-
exciting.
It's comical because when I sent you guys the story, this was the headline right here. Okay? This is the headline
Yeah, right here. Which
right
is,
here. Just put it up on
Yep.
4.
I got it. Okay.
Here's it. Kerry extends his stay in Mideast. Says significant progress made in some areas of talks.
Of peace talks.
Peace talk.
Okay? Of peace talks.
Right.
I sent it to you. 10
Yeah.
minutes later, we click on the link, and this is the headline.
And the
Of the same
headline
story.
is
Read that.
Kerry warns
Warns
of
of-
third intifada, Israel's isolation, if
If
peace
peace
talks
talks.
break down.
This is the same lit article.
It's the same story.
It's the same.
It's the same story.
It's the same exact story.
It's
That's
the same
actually
exact story. And
Back it
and
up.
and
Hold on.
let's
Yeah, go ahead.
let's say a little bit about why he's there to begin with. Okay? Why is it so important for the United States to focus on so-called peace talks between two groups of people who are not interested in the terms of these
They-
peace talks?
they don't
okay?
want peace.
These are forced upon them by
Right.
the United States.
Right.
And why is the United States doing this? A couple of reasons. One of them is that they're using the so-called Israeli-Palestinian issue as an excuse for the Iranian nuclear program. So it's all about the linkage. So Iran wouldn't be trying to get nuclear weapons to use against Israel if those pesky Jews would just stop building apartment houses in their own
So
country.
that's why Iran wants a nuclear bomb.
That's
Because
why.
Jews are building in Israel.
That's
Oh,
right.
that makes perfect sense.
Well,
Right.
you know what? It makes sense to the Iranians, and it certainly makes sense to Barack Obama,
Right.
Susan Rice, Samantha Power, Hillary Clinton, and John Kerry. Because if it's one thing they all agree on, it's this fake linkage
Right.
between Iran and the Palestinians.
Right.
Okay? And John Kerry, just handed over another $75 million
Right.
to Abbas, who is in like the 15th year of his 4-year term.
Of his elected term.
Yeah.
You know, hey,
70
the old motto,
$75
one election, one
million.
time,
That's right.
all the time.
$75 million. Guess what? That's your taxpayer money. Your taxpayer money
Your
going
taxpayer
to
money.
fund the PLO, a terrorist organization.
That's right.
Still a terrorist organization founded in 1964
Yes.
with the charter saying that there is no Israel. There is no Jewish historical claim to the land. And despite all the BS that these Palestinian leaders have been shoving up the noses of the idiot Europeans and the idiot Americans all these years, they have never changed their charter.
Like,
Can I just read
They'll
one
put
quote
out a
out of it?
press release and say, we want peace. All we
Right.
need to do is put our capital here,
Al-Quds.
okay?
I have some,
De-Jewify Jerusalem. Expel everybody who's Jewish from the West Bank.
Right.
I have some great quotes from the wiki that you wanted me to get. Let me get into the
Okay.
PLO, but let me read one quote that Kerry said about the peace talks going on right now.
Okay.
This is from our absolute moronic Secretary of State. Quote, I believe that if we do not resolve the issues between Palestinians and Israelis, if we do not find a way to find peace, there will be an increasing isolation of Israel. There will be an increasing campaign of the delegitimization of Israel that has been taking place on an international basis. This is our Secretary of State
Right.
basically blaming Israel for the lack of progress in these peace talks.
Well,
I mean, he is also essentially endorsing that type of treatment to Israel by the outside world. This Jew-hating piece of crap Secretary of State of ours
thank you.
is a severe problem, along with our Commander-in-Chief. If you look up, CJ,
Yeah.
we have Dumb and Dumber for the radio audience.
Everybody
Well,
in the radio audience, we've had some really interesting pictures and graphics
Right.
that you need
And
to
video.
see,
And
and video
video.
that you need to see from this show today. So when you get a chance later tonight, go to the archives. Go to youtube.com/theunitedwest
Right.
and click on to actually watch today's show.
Even though
It's
Tom's not here,
absolutely-
you gotta come watch.
Yep. And
Now-
Yeah,
I want to say, add one little thing. Since we just came back from Israel less than 2 or 3 weeks ago. How
Yeah.
long has it been, CJ? Has it been a week?
I
or
don't
two?
know. It feels like you've been
Feels
here
like-
forever.
Thank you. I feel like I've been here forever.
I know.
The point being is where we're standing in this quote unquote disputed territories inside the settlements, and we're talking with the people that says, all right, how do you think the peace talks or whatever have been, or the issue of land settlement has been going on for the past, since the time of Reagan? They said, well, it's actually the best since the time of Reagan, because we actually thought it was worse during the first Obama administration. They said, but you take that experience in the first 4 years and now what's happening now with Kerry, he goes, we didn't think it could get any worse. He goes, but it's far worse now.
Yeah.
The Israeli people now are loathing Obama and are now loathing the administration. They
Yeah.
loathe Kerry
Yeah.
because he's saying nothing but, things that are going to destroy Israel.
Well, actually, the other day
know?
when he was in Israel, he stopped by Rabin Square
Right.
in Tel Aviv. The late former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin,
Right.
who was assassinated 18 years ago.
Right.
And Kerry laid a wreath in commemoration of the assassination and declared that he will stand by Israel every step of the way. Now, I can't...
Every step of the way till their
Every
defeat.
step of the way, okay? That's like saying, I'm going to hold your hand all the way to the gas chamber. Okay?
That's exactly what they're
That
doing.
is exactly what it is. And I wish I could see everybody listening and watching to this broadcast.
Right.
Because I would love to see a show of hands of
Right.
all of you who are listening and watching. Just go like this if you actually believe that this Secretary of State, that this President, that this administration actually has any interest whatsoever in the security and well-being of the Jewish state of Israel. I want to know why all of you people here in the United States who say that you love Israel are completely blind to the fact
Right.
that this administration is the enemy of the Jewish homeland.
Well, I'll
I
tell you
don't know why you can't see
Because
it.
the commercials that they ran before the election, they ran commercials that said that Obama was the best friend of a president that Israel ever had. So if the commercials say it, I'm thinking it must be true, no?
It must,
It must be
Now,
something.
CJ, you wanted me to go through the history of some of the PLO
Yeah, let's
so we
do
can
some
see
of
who
the
our peace
highlights,
partners
who our
and
peace
why this is
partners
important. Tell us
are.
why this is important so we know who our peace partners are.
Yeah.
And I want to go ahead and
Okay.
I want to go ahead and read a little bit about the PLO.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And if you want, you could
Can
go
we
ahead and put that
you want to
slideshow on as
throw
I'm
a
reading it.
slideshow on or something?
This is out of Wikipedia, okay?
Yeah.
Conceived by the Arab states at the first Arab Summit meeting, the 1964 Arab League Summit in Cairo, its stated goal was the, quote, liberation of Palestine through armed struggle. The organization was called the Palestine Liberation Organization. The original PLO charter, issued on 28 May 64, stated that, quote, Palestine, with its boundaries that existed at the time of the British Mandate, is an integral regional unit, unquote, and sought to, quote, prohibit the existence and activity of Zionism. This is their charter.
Yes.
It also called for a right of return and self-determination for Palestinians. Palestinian statehood was not mentioned, although in the 74, the PLO called
look at that picture.
for an independent state in the territory of Mandate Palestine. The group used multi-layered guerrilla tactics to attack Israel from their bases in Jordan, including the West Bank, Lebanon, Egypt, Gaza Strip, and Syria.
Now,
This,
if you ever think that they ever recanted from this position, they never,
They never have.
even after Oslo, they never,
No,
even
they
though they
never
were
have.
supposed to, they never did.
No.
And then another group down south formed called the Muslim Brotherhood, which almost had the identical absolute destruction of the state of Israel and the eradication of all Jews. They actually put in there
That's
the
right.
genocide.
That's
Did
right.
have they ever backed off from that?
No.
Has any of the groups, Fatah, anybody ever backed off from that? Has the Palestinian Authority ever backed off from that position? Can they ever back off that position? Will the people ever let them back off from that position? Absolutely no. These peace talks are a sham. They always have been a sham. They always will be a sham because you know what? One side wants to kill you.
Thank you.
like they said,
Thank you.
if the Arabs were to put down their weapons, there would be peace. If the Israelis were to put down their weapons, there would be no
death.
Israel.
Well, I
There
tell
would
you-
be death.
Here's the irony of this whole thing. The only thing that keeps the Palestinians and the PLA and all these groups together up in the West Bank region is actually Israel
What's the
forces.
common uniter?
Israel Defense. If they will pull the Israel Defense Forces out of the West Bank and out of Gaza, you're talking about massive bloodshed killing like in Syria inside their territory, not against Jews, against themselves.
Against themselves. Well, which we already see happening in Gaza because the Israelis did pull out stupidly.
Right.
Okay.
Stupid.
Well, okay.
Here's some more from Wiki.
Stupidly because,
Well,
you know, they had good intentions, but good intentions when you're dealing
With murderous,
with
genocidal.
jihadis, it's
Right.
just plain
Inbreeds.
stupid. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
these statements that you have here are very. I mean, these
Yeah.
come
Well,
right out of the
let's look-
charter.
Let me
Really
read some
quick.
more off at Wiki here.
Yeah, before you
what-
get...
But these are actually out
Okay,
of the
do you have
charter.
something? Go ahead.
Yeah. Before you get there, when we say the Palestinian Liberation Organization, okay, that's composed of a lot of different groups
Right.
coming together
Right.
as the PLO. And who are these groups? Fatah, the largest faction, left-wing nationalism and Palestinian nationalists. The Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the PFLP.
Right.
Radically far-left, militant, and communist. The Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine, communist.
Right.
The Palestinian People's Party, ex-communist, now social democrat, supposedly non-militant.
Okay.
I mean, the point is, who makes up these factions of the PLO? Communists
Right.
and jihadists. Okay? There's no moderate, classic Western, liberal, nation-building members of this party.
Okay.
Thank you.
Initially, as an armed guerrilla organization, the PLO was responsible for violent actions performed against Israel in the 70s and early 80s. This is their peace partner, regarded as terroristic activities and regarded as a war of liberation by the PLO. In 88, however, the PLO officially endorsed a two-state solution contingent on terms such as making East Jerusalem capital of the Palestinian state and giving Palestinians the right of return to land occupied by Palestinians
Well,
prior to 48.
Time out. These positions are so far gone from present day where we were back then. There is not even any talk of even the existence of the state of Israel by the current groups. Today, it is so far beyond even this, which sounds ridiculous. I mean, we're so far off to the scale of stupidity, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah, and giving Palestinians the right of return to land occupied by Palestinians prior to 48, and as well as the right to continue armed struggle until the end of the Zionist entity.
Now they've gone even further than that. It's not just the end of the Zion. Now they just come out and say, we want to destroy Israel. We want to kill Jews.
They have never done anything but act in the interest of doing that. Ever. No matter where they've lived. And folks, these guys have been kicked out of every single Arab country that they've ever gone to. None of the Arab countries want them there either.
No.
They're not allowed to be citizens of Jordan.
No.
They're not allowed to be
them.
citizens of
They don't want
Lebanon or Syria or Saudi Arabia or anywhere else. Why is that?
I need to say this. The 64 Charter stated, quote, the claims of historic and spiritual ties
That's
between
what I have
Jews
right here.
the claims of historic and spiritual ties between Jews and Palestine are not in agreement with the facts of history or with the true basis of sound statehood. The Jews are not one people with an independent personality because they are citizens to their state. There is no history between Jews and Jerusalem.
What I want to say from this, the point I want to make here, okay, this is a translation from the Arabic, okay?
Okay.
This is the true heart and belief of the PLO and the so-called Palestinian people. This is what they stand for. Now, all of you well-wishing liberals out there who want to point out and say Arafat repudiated that after Oslo and said that he believed in a two-state solution and he believed that Israelis had a right to the claim on their own land. Well, you know what?
You're dreaming.
He lied in English for an English-speaking Western audience, sent it out as a press release, and the PLO has never amended their charter or changed their behavior to indicate a change of their intentions.
No, they never did, CJ.
And the guy who leads them right now, okay, this is, you might as well put fangs on this guy, Arafat's successor, okay? This is the guy who's responsible for the slaughter of Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympics. He's the architect of that.
You know,
do you think he just turned around and said, okay, now I love the Jews and I'm willing to live in peace?
How much stuck on stupid do you have to be to believe anything these guys say? I mean, you really have to be there. So, Gigi, take us out in the last 15 seconds here of our show.
Okay, in the last 15 seconds, we're going to pick up some more of this. And I want to thank all of you for watching and listening to TrentoVision.tv. I'm CJ. We have J. Mark and Damon thanking you. Goodbye, and we'll see you soon.